Good to go. Good evening. This is the Bedford Township Park Commission meeting for February 10th at 7 p.m. Roll call, all members are here. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty, first item is
No problem.
the approval of the agenda. I do have one item added because we got a update from Pat in terms of the trash barrels and so forth for the parks. So I made that item 9B and then shifted all the parks down, like Anstead is C, Samaria D, White Park E, and so forth. Other than that, any other additions or changes to agenda? Or otherwise, I need an approval motion.
Yes, are we gonna have something on the agenda here for the, oh wait, we do have it on here, the cleaning service bid. Okay, good. 'Cause we do need to get them terminated and hire somebody else.
Motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you.
I'll support.
Second, all in favor, Aaron? Matt?
Aye.
Myself is aye.
Aye.
Aye. Agenda is approved. The minutes from last meeting, January 27th, 2025. I don't know if anybody went over them. From what I skimmed and looked through, Aaron, you had everything covered that we discussed in terms of wish list items, kind of things on the agenda, what we covered that meeting. I don't have any changes to it. I will motion to approve the minutes from January 27th.
I'll second that.
All in favor, Aaron?
When they're done, because they're
Matt?
Aye.
Myself, aye.
Aye.
this recorded.
Minutes are approved. Aaron, Secretary's report.
Okay.
Perfect. Treasurer's report is at the last page of that packet that was left for us.
For the treasurer's report,
Go right ahead.
there's not really much on here. Bills are pretty light right now. There's just three things on here. We have an electric bill at Parmalee Park, Michigan gas utilities at Car Park. Then we are going to be present at the trade fair in March at the high school, so we are paying for our table for that event.
Okay.
So total for that is pretty low, and then they get another check for the cell tower
Yep, we get a monthly for that.
monthly for that.
The
and
12-step donations, the Wednesday night class at Car.
Yep, they donated $260 as well, and then for the point and pay for the hall rentals, I decided to put them in each line item so we could see like what's being rented and how frequent. So Car's got 2 rentals, and then White Park has a rental as well. And then there was an envelope that I shared with you guys in a text message that there was mail received to the Township Hall for us. I'd like to present this real quick as well. It was a card from Zoe Kraubuck from Troop 9263. He decided to donate the remaining money from a project that he did at Willard Preserve by putting it in a garden. His leftover money was $4. He wanted to donate it to us, wrote us a card, so I turned that into the treasurer's office to process that, so we have that.
With no other changes, I will motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Support.
All in favor, Aaron?
Yes.
Matt?
Aye.
Myself is aye. Josh?
Aye. Aye.
Kyle, aye. Treasurer's report passes. Tonight we have a presentation from Monarch Moms, so the floor is yours.
Oh, it's ours. Okay. Hang on. Hold on 1 second. Let's get this
Not a problem.
connect. It's thinking about. It's okay.
They're bringing it up.
It's not even,
Do you need the pass? Do you need Wi-Fi password?
no, I can pull it from my desktop. I don't know if that's the right one, though, is it?
Scroll down. It's not going up there. Yeah, it's not casting.
Share. Are you trying to get this page up?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're just trying to get it on the screen there, and it's. Just scroll down and make sure it's the right one. Yeah, it is. It has to. Over there, ask that guy.
Worst case, we can scan it and have it as part of our minutes.
I know it's worked before. Oh, there you go. There. Oh. See, you just needed someone with authority to come up behind you, and then all of a sudden it's going to work. So, alrighty, you wanna slide that over there and I'll have you flip the screens. So, well, hi, welcome thank you for having us. I appreciate you guys opening the door to letting us come in and present. I'm Amanda Oscar. This is Patty Finch and Barry Newcomb, and together we have created the Bedford Monarch Conservation Committee. And our goal here today is to work with you guys in the future on getting maybe more gardens that are like milkweed and things like that in the community gardens and any other projects we can assist with that will help in the restoration of the monarch population. So I'm going to do a quick presentation. So obviously you can see, here's our mission. I'm sorry.
It's behind them, so.
I guess, I wish you guys had something in front. Can you guys?
Okay.
Look at that. I love that. That's really cool. Look at that. Okay. Well, our mission is to foster the conservation and the growth of monarch butterfly populations through dedicated rearing programs by providing optimal habitats and nurturing larvae and educating the community about the importance of monarchs. We aim to support the species recovery and ensure their vibrant presence in our ecosystem for the future. So let's begin real quick talking about monarch populations. There are two separate monarch populations in North America. There is the eastern and there is the western. Both are in critical danger. The western population has decreased by 90% since 1980. And our population, the eastern population, has decreased by 90%. Our group, does focus on merely just the eastern population due to demographic. So, but both of them are, in, as you can see, severe danger. All right. Next. Real quick, on the population of the eastern monarchs. So, since 1996, you can see that there's 910 million monarchs in the population. Fast forward 10 years. 10 years. In just 10 years, it was a 63% drop in the population to 334 million monarchs. Fast forward another 10 years, we're down to 146 million monarchs. Today, less than 10 years, 224,000. Just so that's clear, 1,000. That is all that remains in the current population in 2024 count. The life cycle of the monarch, pretty simple. Just like most insects, egg. Eggs usually, a monarch will lay anywhere between 100 and 300 eggs in a 2 to 5 week period. Each egg takes about 3 to 5 days to hatch. The caterpillar or larva stage takes about 11 to 18 days to fully mature. The chrysalis or pupa phase is about an 8 to 14 day process. Then the monarch butterfly usually lives between generally 2 to 5 weeks, except for the migratory generation, which can live anywhere between 6 and 9 months. Let's see. Temperature is critical in the growth and development of the monarch. And again, that kind of crosses over to all species, to be honest. Temperature is a huge huge thing. The warmer the temperatures, the faster the process. Yes. Let's see. All right, gender identification, real easy. If you're a boy, you got 2 little cute dots on your butt. If you're a female, you do not have any cute little dots on your butt, and your veins are usually thicker. So that's how you can tell them apart.
And the dots are scent glands.
So monarch generations, there are 4 distinct monarch generations. And when I say that, it comes in cycles, meaning that at the end of the summer, in the fall, there is a generation of monarchs that develop. They migrate down to the south, to the central Mexico. They overwinter for 6 to 9 months, and then when it is time, they will migrate north in increments. So they will start to migrate more north and breed, say Florida. They will have the first generation there. That generation will continue to look for milkweed and migrate north, having the second generation. and that process will continue for a third generation. That third generation is usually up here by Michigan and Canada. And then they will have the fourth generation, which will repeat the cycle by migrating over 3,000 miles back to central Mexico.
And that fourth generation is around, this area is in August and September and somewhat October.
Depending on the temperature.
Yep.
Let's see, monarch facts. Monarch eggs only have a 5 to 10% survival rate in the wild. Each eggs and caterpillars, when raised in captivity, which is what we do, has an increased survival rate of 80 to 95%. Monarchs are excellent pollinators. As they feed on nectar, they help pollinate a wide variety of flowers. And many organizations have been working since 2020 to have monarchs listed as an endangered species. As of today, they still are not listed. Why are monarchs special? Monarchs are considered a flagship species for pollinators. This means they inspire people to help by providing food plants for monarchs, and all pollinators benefit from this. Out of 5.5 million insect species, monarchs are the only ones known to migrate like birds. They migrate up to 3,000 miles into central Mexico, where they overwinter in the Oyamel fir forests. If you ask, I would say that means they're pretty much one of a kind. Monarchs also have a cultural significance in Mexico, where they're believed to guide the spirits of ancestors during Dia de los Muertos, also known as Day of the Dead. Monarchs typically fly between 3,000 and 4,000 feet in the air during migration. The highest altitude ever recorded is 11,000 feet. They take advantage of the favorable wind currents that help carry them on their long journey. What is threatening the monarchs? Habitat loss. Overwintering sites in both Mexico and California are rapidly shrinking due to deforestation, harsh weathers, and urban development and other disruptions. The loss of milkweed. Although monarchs feed on the nectar of many flowers, they lay their eggs exclusively on milkweed. Unfortunately, milkweed is often eradicated and considered a noxious weed. Urbanization, industrialization, and large-scale farms or drought conditions have also resulted in significant plant loss. Climate change. Especially in the last decade, climate change has resulted in more of out-of-season storms, severe temperature drops, and excessive rain. The combination of both wet and cold is deadly and has resulted in the death of hundreds of millions of monarchs. The use of chemicals, I think that's kind of an obvious one. Fungicides, pesticides, and herbicides can all have various effects on the environment, often leading to unintended consequences. The threat is by far the easiest to control and change.
I want to say something. We're really happy to know that Bedford doesn't spray ditches, because that is just a better
For everyone.
Everyone. We have noticed, because last year we went out foraging for eggs and caterpillars, and we noticed on the corner of Dean and Douglas, there's a farm field there. And on the north side there, on the northeast side, that ditch is
Lots of milkweed.
huge amount of milkweed.
Not productive.
Not productive. We've been there, we've searched that several times. We saw no eggs, no caterpillars, nothing. And we went there several times, which tells us that farm field probably has runoff or they spray, which has affected the milkweed. So, that's a negative thing there. But we go a lot of places in Bedford just foraging, looking to try to save, the eggs and the cats. Okay.
We'll talk about milkweed and habitat. Monarchs rely on milkweed as their sole food source for their caterpillars. Monarch butterflies lay their eggs exclusively on milkweed to ensure their caterpillars have a food source upon hatching. Without milkweed, monarchs cannot survive. To help rebuild the eastern monarch populations, an additional 1.8 billion milkweed plants are needed in their summer breeding ranges. Identifying milkweed. I don't know if anyone is familiar with milkweed. Have you guys seen it before? Well, once you learn what it is, you'll be driving down the road and be like, oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. It's just,
The three that we really see around here would be the butterfly weed, which is the orange one,
what you have out front in your gardens in the parking lot.
and then the common milkweed, which is the bottom left, and then swamp, which we have found over at, what park is that, Car Park?
No, that's in Indian Creek.
Indian Creek, in the creek. And we found some huge cats over there last year.
Yep.
So it's kind of deceptive because it's called swamp milkweed. You think it has to be wet. I live down here on Stearns, or Jackman, and I have sand. I'm part of Oak Openings, and I've planted it there. And there's no irrigation or anything, and it does well there too. So it doesn't have to be wet.
On the sheets I gave you as well are the three most common we talked about right here. And they'll give you a visual aid for when spring comes, and you can maybe use that as a reference to identify them when you're out at the parks or whatever. Don't cut them down. Let's see. So obviously we're identifying the milkweed. They're a flowering perennial. Usually blooms about 4 weeks into mid to late summer. Milkweed is an important nectaring source for all pollinators. If you ever are in a milkweed patch, you can almost be brought to tears in some way, depending if you like bugs or not. But you realize that there is an entire ecosystem that revolves around just milkweed alone. It's the same for all plants, but because it's a monarch, we're a little more impartial to it. Milkweed grows on roadsides, highway medians, vacant lots, and cultivated gardens. We do have a lot that grows along 23 north in the median, so a lot of it. It grows in clusters and it grows in patches. A unique feature is that after blooming, it gets this cute little horn pod that has its seeds that will spread again in the fall for next year's milkweed. All right, the milkweed plant. Yes, milkweed is technically classified as a noxious weed. However, Michigan's House Bill 4857, signed in 2024 of March, it now protects milkweed and exempts it from being classified as a noxious weed, which local governments are required to eradicate. While this is a good start, they aren't required to eradicate them. That doesn't mean that they can't cut them down if they choose to, because they are not protected. Perhaps a step in the right direction, but more action is required to make actual change. Many other states are also passing similar bills of protection and are lifting milkweed seed bans. And believe it or not, many states have milkweed seed bans where you couldn't even get them in a nursery and plant them. It is a plant that spreads everywhere very rapidly, which is a great considering that at least 1.8 billion more plants are required in a very short period of time. Skip that. We can skip this one. I'll go to this. The future of the monarch is up to us. What can we do? To start, we can plant milkweed. Some of the easiest to grow and favored by monarchs is what we discussed: butterfly, common, and swamp milkweeds. Avoid or minimize the use of pesticides and herbicides or other chemicals. Include butterfly plants in your garden. Eliminate cutting down and anything growing in the ditches and expressways. Create pollinator gardens, plant milkweed patches, and monarch way stations in local parks or in your backyard, which is what we'd like to do with you guys.
And we know Anstead Park is one.
Currently has one.
Where I was going to start is I know Anstead, and that was, I didn't want to interrupt your
No.
presentation. Does the plant, is it a perennial?
It's a perennial, yep. Comes back every year.
Started, it should come back and go. So because I know the main thing with Anstead is against invasive species, we don't use any herbicides or pesticides or anything of that nature, but we did, because that park is originally a grant funded along with Oak Openings in Pearson, and they would do annual burns to control.
That's different.
Burn doesn't destroy the root system, and it would still allow the milk. Okay. because that was my next question, was that is, I know.
They actually did a study, MSU did, on, it was like I can't think of what they called it, but they asked people if they were interested in taking a part of a test that they were doing, and they found out if they cut milkweed like a third of the plant in July, it regrows, and it was a good test because they would lay the eggs on the newer
Growth.
Fresh
growth because it was more tender and stuff. And so, even if you whack it down,
Say, because generally our burns, we always would do spring once it got to a
Yeah.
dry point, or late into the year, September, October, later in.
but you didn't do the whole part, did you?
No, they do it in
Because-
zones.
Okay,
So we would do
I
like the
wondered,
front
'cause we walk our
third, the
dogs.
middle third, so that's where realistically, like, I know we've got that smaller, the monarch patch up front, but that's, Ansted and Wheeler are my first thoughts of
Yeah.
where to plant, where to let it go, because that's natural preserve land.
Right.
We can't build anything on it, we can't change it. We control invasive species with those, but those areas, and I don't think we have, like we do at Ansted, anything at Wheeler yet.
Yeah, there's
That's-
nothing there.
So the township takes care of Wheeler?
That is part of our park system, the park
Okay.
commission.
Excellent.
So, and that's another, just like Ansted is, it's another preserved land, it can't be developed, it was donated to us with those kind of in writing that it is
Regulations, yeah.
parkland, it cannot be developed, we can't build any structures or play areas, it's trails and
Yep.
natural, just like
No dogs.
Ansted.
So room for growth.
Absolutely. And that's, so those two are obviously the biggest, where we could probably make the biggest impact, or the biggest area, the biggest,
Right.
what you guys want to go about and do, of what we can work with you on. The other parks are a matter of, I mean, yeah, anywhere, obviously we mow and regulate the ball diamonds and fields, but a lot of it is natural, it's trails
Right.
and it's parkland.
Even if there was a small area dedicated to just milkweed, it'd be good for educational purposes, for all the
Right.
kids that come there. It plants a seed, no pun intended. But, knowledge is power, and if they start to understand what this is and what it means to the species, then maybe it'll be a good snowball effect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So, I'll go ahead.
Is it done? Is the presentation?
I was saying, I didn't want to
One more
interrupt
to go.
any slides. Okay.
No, how about if we finish and then we'll go
Yeah,
to
finish
questions?
and then-
Is that
yeah.
okay? Is that all right, Josh? Okay. So, the next one. Okay. With the threat of extinction to monarch butterflies and no foreseeable end to the challenges we discussed, it is crucial that we act now to ensure the monarch's survival, or at the very least, give them a fighting chance.
Nope,
That's okay.
Flip.
3 photos. Oh,
hold on.
wow, what did you do? Okay, 1 second. Look at there.
Oh, we saw them. They were there, yeah.
Yeah.
Just quick went through them all.
Yeah, right there.
There.
Oh, back. Is there a back button?
Yes.
All right, so if you see in these photos, these are actual butterflies that each of us have released in our rearing programs. Not that we're encouraging everyone to just become butterfly rearers. There is a skill and a lot involved in that, especially since I know this is on live television if anyone's watching. I don't want to discourage it, but I don't want anyone just going out there and plucking these insects off a tree and sticking them in a fish aquarium or a mason jar. That's not how it works. But anyway, if we'll go to the next slide real quick. We do have a Facebook page if anyone is interested. And then we'll have our closing, which is, as you have seen here today, monarch butterflies are more than just a symbol of beauty. They play a critical role in our ecosystems and as an essential part of the biodiversity we rely on. However, their populations are declining, and it is up to all of us to help reverse this trend, whether through habitat restoration, supporting pollinators and friendly practices, or advocating for strong environmental policies that we all have a role to play. Together, we can ensure the future generations will also experience the magic of this incredible creature. Thank you for your time, and let's work together to save the monarchs. That's it. Any questions?
Josh, you want to go first?
So you can leave that up. for
Yeah.
time, so everybody-
Yeah.
Go for it.
Not just Ansted or Wheeler, but we have all these pocket parks we don't even know what to do with. Some of it's just because of the drain commission. Some of it, there's other spots where it's just like a little patch here and there. I think those are some other good spots you guys can.
Sprinkle some seeds
Exactly.
and let
a little
nature
way
do its
station.
thing.
Yeah, there's a handful of pocket parks I can think of off the top of my head that we can easily start sprinkling some seeds.
What does it take, I guess, from your guys' end? Say we did like the garden area we have at the front of Anstead with a sign or anything, what does that entail or take if we were to do that by the playground at Carr, at White, at Samaria, at Parmalee, to have it, like you said, for educational purposes? It doesn't have to be a mass area, it can be that.
Doesn't have to be a big space, to be honest. I mean,
What does it take? I mean.
milkweed seeds and probably a little bit of sweat equity.
And
And we're gaining a lot of help through local garden clubs. So I think that if we collaborated and discussed a plan, I think that we could find the resources and the help to make that come to fruition.
Yeah, because we just met up with the,
The Bedford Garden Club.
yeah, but the lady,
Michelle?
Molly? No, Michelle.
Yeah.
Michelle
We're getting lots of
Alvarez,
resources.
and she is a native, she's all about native
A guru.
plants and stuff.
She's a master gardener as well. So
Say,
I
because
think,
obviously at like White and there's, we're not going to put it in the middle of the outfield. But
No, absolutely
I would figure
not.
the most traffic and volume of seeing and people
Would be-
hurrying or just picking up quick would be near the
playground.
zones.
I would agree. Yep. And it doesn't have to be a very big area.
Out any area, it's, go for it.
The walking trail at White Park along the south and the southwest corner there, all along that whole path. You can have a whole nice lawn.
Yeah, I mean in terms
Row.
of like the actual like garden,
Education.
you can.
Yeah,
it's
just along the
throw seeds
walking
and plant.
trail
The only
there.
thing we do within the actual parks themselves is the continuous mowing, just to the
Yep,
cleanup
yep.
of them.
Well, we,
Does your organization have, are you willing and or able to provide all the resources, which sounds like seeds, et cetera? So like we wouldn't have to make any expenditure.
Right.
no.
And how many like pollinator gardens or milkweed patches are you capable of? Hundreds? Thousands?
Careful now, because
A determined woman.
I'll be honest. I think that we should have a plan that starts with one or two locations and build from there. I don't want to just start, I don't want to have I don't want to crop dust milkweed seeds across Bedford and hope that I think we need to definitely say what makes the most sense.
I know the public in general, I mean, it's public parks. I remember going out last fall to Anstead and I saw the milkweed pods.
Yeah, the little horns, yeah, on a
And that's-
stick.
and,
Yeah.
they take, absolutely, like that's.
So
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, like, what's the rule on that? Because there were some black-eyed Susans, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all those seed pods, I didn't want to get in trouble for like plucking flowers off, but we also go out in areas and, collect eggs and caterpillars off of the milkweed, so
And I've
is
been
that,
to Anstead.
is that something that we would be allowed to do?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not, I mean, as long as there isn't destruction involved
Yeah.
and there's not destruction of property, there's not, I mean, you're
No.
not digging an area out and planting a specific garden where it's like, where our maintenance
No.
or the burn would affect that.
No.
If we can
So-
get seeds to take in there,
We-
absolutely. I know we're probably still going to be doing the controlled burns here, so I didn't know if that played a role in.
We would need you to draw out and say, this is where you can put it, and that's it. Like, we would want to, obviously, we want to work with you,
make a
not
plan. Yeah,
not be
for the
behind your
gardens
back and like, yeah, no.
themselves, wanted-
How large is a typical pollinator garden or plant? Or like
You
Instead,
could make
it's
them
like
as
a
10
5
by 10.
Yeah,
10
I
by
was saying-
10's
I mean,
like a large size.
in order to be a way station, it's a minimum of 10 by 10. So, and we don't have to require a way station,
And it
but it wouldn't
requires
hurt
more
to have
than
a few
just-
other nectaring plants in there as
Yeah,
well. It will attract.
It requires a certain number of.
Yeah.
And
Right.
Anstead, you sound very, very familiar with. Like 5 of them at Anstead would be adequate? More
Well,
than?
they have some now.
We have one at
Like
Anstead.
5 additional
Beginning.
throughout the,
That would be, well, that would be, yeah, that would be great, but,
Just sprinkling seeds
I
anywhere
would say
that's
the-
not
I
being
would
mowed.
say the actual
good.
gardens and having like a
Yes.
sign or like a. like
It's
we have
different
at
than us just
Anstead, if you
sprinkling.
go there's like a
Yeah.
little education sign, something like that. I would say a single one at each
Yes. Yeah.
playscape and park
Yeah.
would be ideal.
I agree.
From there, it's spreading.
That
seeds.
now, then it's just you telling us where you're not going to mow down every 3 to 4 weeks, and we can sprinkle seeds there and allow them to cultivate
Any
themselves.
of the
I think we'd have to
perimeter
put
edges
some-
of trails, any.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if it takes, it
Which is why I
takes.
said Anstead and Wheeler, which are natural preserves, or they mowed down the trail at Wheeler because it's not a stone trail like it is at Anstead. They take that through and kind of clean
Yeah.
that path clear, but everything else is left natural.
We would absolutely be more than happy to go out there
Wheeler
and,
is
and
wide open.
what's the critical months? Like
well,
plant the seeds in
see,
March?
common milkweed, the seeds have to have cold stratification. So the critical months would be, like, I've broadcast seeds in the fall towards the beginning of winter.
We've
But
already
you
kind of
can
missed the
also
boat.
you can do it now, like February, March, if it's still cold.
Okay.
So for
And
the
As long as-
it doesn't
any new
really
gardens.
require any digging or anything.
No.
It's just broadcasting.
Yep.
Josh, you're Ansted and Wheeler? Or am I wrong?
I'm Ansted.
So from Wheeler.
Ansted and Carr.
He's Ansted and Carr. I believe I'm Wheeler.
I have Samaria.
I'm Wheeler.
I was going to ask about, our wooded area is also good to have milkweed too, because there's a walking trail at Samaria Park in the woods.
No.
Not the
Sun.
woods, it needs sun.
Oh, it
So
needs-
edges of trails would be good where there's exposure to sun,
Okay.
or at least I would say 50% sun. It just needs at least something.
So you're not the liaison for those parks, but you have been working closely with them.
Yeah.
And you have time theoretically to.
Yeah.
But-
I'd like to work alongside with them and.
So, okay, I would like to motion to allow the Bedford Monarch Conservation Committee to make no more than 10 pollinator gardens or milkweed patches in Ansted and Wheeler Park between now and.
You're missing the point here.
Well, no, I
The
just I want
patches of the gardens themselves, we only need like a single one.
somebody make a motion to let Josh and them.
We don't
make
need a
it happen.
motion on this.
Well, I think we do. I mean,
It's a matter of, yeah, we'll work with you. Let's, Josh, I'll
we're
work with
beginning
Josh.
a partnership.
in a motion that allows Josh the authority to work with them and do whatever.
We're beginning a partnership is what we're doing.
Sure, but I mean,
The first stage realistically of laying out these gardens would be getting a printout of each map of the park and where do you want this
Yep.
10 by 10 zone.
You tell us,
Where would
you tell
yeah.
us where
This is
where
where
it
we
makes
need to get
sense.
with Pat for maintenance
Exactly.
and.
So
Andy's
there's no
place is
motion
clear cut.
needed on anything yet till we have that layout. Outside of those specific zones and those builds with like a little educate, like we have at Ansted.
Yep.
A sign that explains it briefly and quick and easy to understand. Outside of those, Wheeler and Ansted, spread seeds.
Okay.
Like I've seen no reason why not. It's like I said, the only things really ever done there are controlled burns and maintenance around the path and the edge. They might clean up, and trim down a couple times a year.
Which is fine. Again, it is a noxious weed, and a little
there
maintenance
is
isn't a bad
lot
thing.
along the edges. I'm always
It's-
looking. There's more common, but there is a little bit of swamp towards the very beginning.
Yep, where that low area, and that's why I was curious how that garden was doing in terms of milkweed and production, and I don't know.
Not bad. So, but
It's a
yeah,
good
that
sign.
would be awesome, because I think that would be our goal, is to spread milkweed.
I didn't
as-
take any pods, but I did take leaves because I need them to feed the
And
caterpillars.
that is a true point. When we do feed our caterpillars, we only take from non-chemically treated areas. So if you have a field that is next to a crop field, we won't take food from there, just due to cross-contamination. And even the ones that are usually next to a field that has, wild, overgrown, non-maintained, we still wash them. Just, give them a nice little soak bath and, so that they can get clean leaves. Not that they wouldn't get clean, if they're gonna eat it in the wild anyway, but that doesn't mean it won't poison them either. So, there's a
It's-
lot of the death is from, poisoning, so.
It's a really cool process. I'm 38 years old, and last fall, our friends, they have a bunch of milkweed on their property and acreage, and we literally got the little net cage and
Yeah.
clean one with our two kids doing it. It's actually seeing the chrysalis and
Yeah.
growth. It's nuts.
It's
Named it, but he
miraculous,
blew off.
really.
It was in late
Yeah.
September, so
Yep.
everything adds up. It's a good
I
educational
would
process.
like to
It's
see
good.
the schools bring it back into the classrooms.
Right.
I think it's, and my daughter's a fifth grade teacher at Jackman Road.
Okay.
I'm like, can I come talk to your classroom?
Go to the school board. See if
We
they
did.
have gardens in
We
each
did-
school.
we
Okay.
didn't get an
Crickets.
answer.
We got
Yeah.
crickets. So we figured.
No, they're busy with the town.
I think the best.
Plus,
route-
it's winter season. We're not as busy with everything.
Yes, this was in the beginning of the school year, September, but I think that we just need to contact the schools individually.
I'm glad you came to the parks because really, the parks is a great starting
Common
point where
sense. Yeah, it's a good start.
members of the other boards can see it and go, maybe this can be something spread to the schools, spread to.
Yep,
Absolutely.
yep.
They
So
say the
in our
township's
home
doing it, the
rearing-
school might do it.
Yep.
Patty, what's the most you've released? 600 and something?
I can't remember if it was my first year or my second year. No, second year, because the first year I really didn't know what I was doing. I just did a lot of research and stuff. 687 my second year. I raised and released from egg or small cats.
It was
Start.
One by one, we can make
That's
it
right.
happen.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I vowed never to do that. My husband's like, it's going to become a job because I work full time.
It is. It's a lot of work.
Up till 1, 2 in the morning, cleaning up caterpillar frass and changing out fresh leaves and whatnot. And you want to be able to still appreciate it as a hobby and something that you're passionate about, not you dread doing till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Now,
So
have you tagged? Because Iowa, University, is it University of Iowa? Or that we get the tags from, to tag the
That's
monarch.
Journey
actually-
North
Journey North. I don't know.
It might be
Oh, it's
Iowa.
out of
or Kansas, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Kansas.
It's Kansas.
We've done that.
Going with them, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah.
Like,
I think
I
that-
mean,
sounds like we don't need a motion and everything.
Okay, next steps, and then we can discuss with
Next
him.
steps, if now's the time to spread something, go to Wheeler and Anstead.
Okay,
Spread.
what are you guys doing this weekend?
In terms of Josh, you have their contact, know how
Yeah.
to
Yes,
go.
please.
I'll work with Josh on getting a plan for, like I said, I would say Wheeler needs one just like Anstead, and then if we can like focus on the 4 main playscape areas we have, we'll kind of get an area zoned out, work with Pat, see if it works with me.
That'd be great.
Doesn't interfere with their daily operation and
Okay.
going over there, and get a plan together, and that's what we can present then for a motion to, do you guys all agree these areas work, so forth?
Yes, and
that'd
on
be
top
good
of that
to
too, I'm
parks.
going to talk to
parks.
Pat as well, and then
Start
Al as
small
well,
and then
because we're
grow.
gonna, these pocket parks, like, they're kind of a waste, really. We have all this, like, land we have to, like, maintain that nothing gets done with. And it's out in the open. I think this is a great opportunity to actually do something with it, at least. All these pocket parks that we have.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
But
talk
yeah,
with them,
as
figure
a
out which
starting
pocket
point-
parks we can do. We'll-
Maybe we could put the 1.8 billion milkweed plants just in Bedford.
We'll be the hub.
We would have to.
It'll finally put Bedford on the map for a different reason.
I'm okay with getting a plan together for definitely getting at least the garden spots for each park,
Okay.
and once we have that, I'll make sure Josh gets in touch with you and.
That'd be great.
Approval, and
Yeah.
then that, I would say those realistically, I'm guessing are gonna be more like spring, summer.
Yes, they will,
break.
which is great, because then
Perfect.
if we know where we're putting it and we know what space we have to work with, that gives us time to plan what kind of plants we need and seed, and then also what kind of help we're gonna need to make this happen. So I think we can get the muscle, to be honest. We got enough people, we'll make it happen.
Absolutely, I appreciate you guys presenting. Any other
And
questions?
then on top of that as well, at the playgrounds, these are going to be educational opportunities for the kids to see, right? With the signage and that?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yep.
good. Maybe plan in the summer, maybe like do like a workshop or something once you're
We
there.
have
actually
one
doing
March
one.
9th. We're doing a
At the library.
milkweed
Okay.
and monarchs at the library. Sunday, March 9th from 12:30 to 2:30.
Okay.
Yep.
We're providing everything, but it's limited seating. I think we're down to 33 open seats
Okay.
out of 100, so.
Do you want to,
Sunday, March 9th.
Yep.
Yes.
I brought the
the poll.
brochure, you can,
Like anybody watching.
oh,
Oh,
sorry, I'm like, I have
oh,
a QR code, you can scan it if
Shoot
you want to
skis, yeah, I don't know how that would work, yeah.
do you want to do
Well, they
something
can
like that at the
contact the
parks in
library,
the
too.
summertime?
Yeah.
I think,
doing,
yeah, it would be fun. In the summer, we would be able to have like live caterpillars and eggs and milkweed plants and
For
stuff to show
presentation,
them.
which is what we did for the Green Initiative.
Yeah.
When we did present to them, we were able to bring the chrysalis, the eggs, and the caterpillars all here to see visually. So unfortunately, we don't have that luxury in the winter here.
And not.
No,
Let's
not
go to
here.
Mexico.
Yeah, okay.
And then maybe allow, some kids maybe sign up to release a monarch or something. Because we will, depending on when it is.
Patty does that
have-
at UTMC.
Yeah.
She works with interns and.
The resident, I'm in the anesthesiology residency program, so I take them, we do wellness events. I'll take in a dozen monarchs and take the residents out to the courtyard and let them release a monarch. The guys are more geeked about it than the girls are, to be
blast.
honest.
Pretty impressive process they have, those monarchs,
Do
so,
some of this during the summertime, like have some events so we can let them know,
Absolutely.
invite them and
yep.
presentations
We'll
during
work
the
on
summer.
getting
I
some
mean-
parks together. I'd say step one, spread seeds, and we'll
Yep.
get an area, get those areas planned out for you, and
Okay,
I'll make sure you're in contact with them to.
Yeah.
Okay.
get that.
And then another question too, we will be at the trade fair.
We are too.
Okay, good, because the Greenishes will be there and we did save a spot for
We're
you.
yeah.
Yes,
thanks.
thank you
And
so much.
we're passing out, we're gonna do seeds. Put little
Seed
stickers for the
envelopes.
You
kids.
guys also have some literature to pass out too as well?
Yes.
Okay, good, good.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, again, thank you guys for presenting.
Thank you for having us. Thank you very much.
This is gonna
Thank
be a
you
great
for-
partnership, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
thanks.
Yes,
Thanks
we're
for
looking
the
forward to it.
opportunity and your time, you guys.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you very much. We'll let you guys get back to your meeting and,
Not a problem. Thank you, guys.
thank you.
So, did you get those little things yet?
Next item on our list is ComEd Park Partners. I didn't get any update from Nancy. I know they're
Barry.
All your seats are.
deep into the basketball season
say?
where that they have their max
Seeds?
capacity one, so I'm sure we'll get an
They
update.
just had that daddy-daughter dance over the weekend.
Daddy-daughter dance was Saturday, so I'm sure we'll get an update at some point. No other updates from Park Partners. Comments from the public? We don't have public here. Moving on to old and new business. 9A is the update on the cleaning service bid, getting that finalized. Basically, I just put it on quick for you to, do we have the kind of scope written out in that we can get it out to public bid?
Yeah, so
Until we have somebody in line, we're not getting rid of anybody we have in place. Things are going to operate
Right.
as normal till we get that out to public bid, get results back, and we can make a decision from that.
So Angie did email, I don't know if everybody else got it, but I got, okay, yes. So there's a template we can use, basically the same thing we had before. We would just have to basically approve our stuff. We'd have to just approve, yeah, we're going to put this out for bid, and then we'll put it on the township website for the allotted time. How long should it be up there for, like 3 weeks or so, or how long do you think?
It's usually a 1 month open bid.
1 month, okay, we'll put up there for a month, and then,
Depends on the bid and what it is, but usually public project, I know the projects wise, like the courts, all that is a minimum of 1 month. I mean, we can, if we can limit it, yeah, we'll see what we get.
I mean, we know we can get a hold of companies within a
If
week
we
or
need
so,
to
and
approve
they can
that,
all go
then
bid.
Pretty much, I'm zipping through this, get that bid and all that detail up, so we have a next meeting, so we can review it
We
and
need
vote to approve.
some sort of
How about we-
example of what we want on it.
That's
though,
what
and then-
she emailed.
Right, but I mean, do we want, what ours is gonna say exactly, and then we,
That's what we'll have for next meeting to approve, to
Okay.
go out to public bid.
yeah, that's perfect then.
Because we can't do anything with it till
Right.
that's here.
Has the situation really deteriorated that bad, or?
I've
We
heard
had to give a
continuous
refund.
complaint. We've did that multiple times over the past 4 years. It's not, I mean, it is what it is. If we go out to public bid and we get somebody that,
Yeah, I mean, well, has anybody, I don't even
Cost-wise
know.
and-
I've been to the halls. The floor is still like they have not been mopped. And from what I've heard, she has not been there since January 3rd at Carr Park. So she hasn't been doing her job at
Has
all.
anybody talked to her?
I did
When, I guess?
about a week or so ago.
What was it, what
It
transpired
just
in the
says-
conversation?
Just from everything she was saying, it just kind of seemed like, oh, this is going on. And she's like, oh, I've asked them to replace the mops and the wide broom with Samaria because it's been the same ones I've been using for like the last 6 years. And like we don't transport the brooms and the mops in our cars because they won't really fit that well. We just bring the cleaning supplies. And then she was saying that in the past she would always like
well,
supply
that's what needs presented. because
toilet
that's the first
paper
I've
and
ever
paper
heard.
towels, and she quit doing that when she wasn't paid for like 7 months.
So
It just
we're
seems
providing the.
We're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's why.
It just
this-
seems like she
this
doesn't
would
know
have
what
been
she's
better
doing.
knowledge prior to the meeting for us to publicly discuss. It's,
Yeah.
get all of this together for next meeting for us to approve something to get it out a public bid. If we don't get anything, we'll continue with them. We need to be in contact with her, let her know the current bid and what we're supposed to be getting invoiced for is for them to refill toilet paper and paper towel and those things, put it in her invoice, and that's what they invoice for us. She's not doing that, she's not going to get paid for that. It's also,
I haven't seen any invoices from them at all, which is totally fine for me because
then they're not doing their job, so
Maybe there hasn't been bookings?
there have been.
Well, there's been bookings, they're just not showing up.
So I guess that's the scenario, that's why nothing can really be done till we have this bid to approve.
In person,
I know, I mean, the one that we motioned with the $100, that same one or a different one?
that was.
No, that one.
Same one.
Which, like I said, we did it multiple times for.
Yeah, I mean, it was a Saturday
situations,
night and
yeah.
they didn't come on a Sunday, there was a booking on Sunday and that's unfortunate, but I mean, other than that one, I don't know, I guess there's.
So,
We don't need to terminate people unless we really have to, I mean, that's.
I think it's
This
good to
one
get
does
rebid
need to
next
happen.
meeting, 'cause
yeah,
we get
we'll
the-
get a
I do think
rebid
the
and out
cost
there.
is a lot,
That's what I'm
like
saying.
certainly.
The oversight to make sure these places get cleaned every time, or are we just assuming that they're doing it on their own accord and there's no
I have-
accountability there? And they're
Well,
just
As a
sending
past,
bills?
as a past board, when I had Carr Park, I knew when bookings were, and those were the only ones I had access to see. Occasionally, I had done pop-ins and gone, and everything seemed fine. I know for sure from every time I had been there, kind of during the week, especially when we used to host meetings there, the Wednesday group that's there every Wednesday for AA never left a mess. They cleaned up after themselves. They put the tables back. They've been doing that for 2 decades now. They've been there. It's not an issue with them.
Because I kind of agree with Aaron, unless we have like photos or something the next day when they haven't carried through their job, no one.
I've gone in after.
Hearsay, I don't think anyone needs.
It's not
Exactly.
hearsay. I've visualized it.
What I do know is that the treasurer's office, from talking to Nicole, is that the bookings on there, the cleaning company has access to see where the bookings are. They get notified when there's a booking.
She's supposed to, yep.
So they know when they're supposed to go clean. They just don't go and show up and do their job. That's the issue here.
Well, then we need to make sure and document, and that we're not
Exactly.
gonna
Let's
get
document. We
invoice.
got pictures. There's no invoices.
Listen, calm down. Of what dates are and which bookings, because if we get an invoice for a cleaning service for that date, we don't pay that invoice.
Yeah, if they haven't been there,
So,
of course. Yeah.
Well, until we have that date, we don't have a record of it. So, again, Cars Grove, who I'm not sure who it was with Samaria, these are, look at your bookings, know when bookings are. These are things we need to do. So you're aware.
So as of right now, there are cleaning service. Everything's
There are
the
cleaning-
same.
yes.
They
We're just
obviously
looking-
know that we're having this discussion theoretically. So, okay. I
So
mean,
be it. So when we get this in 2 weeks at a meeting and approve this to go to public bid, and it finally does get put out publicly, if you know cleaning services or somebody who would be interested in running this, encourage them to bid on the open public bid.
Yeah, man.
Until that point,
Matt and I have talked about this before. We've talked about that we have an idea of a few companies we would talk to
Perfect.
have them bid. I think right
Perfect.
now, if we prove the language or the contract to be the same type of contract we have now, just put it out there.
well, we want to make sure details are in there, that the restocking toilet paper and paper, like all those details, make sure it's in there and solid so they know when they go, this is the cleaning they have to do. They need to mop. They provide their own equipment. They provide the cleaning supplies. They are stocking toilet paper, soap, paper towel, all those, and that can be part of what they invoice to us. We get a price from them on what a service for. They can go see the halls, see the size of it, what it would entail, removing garbage, all of those pieces, and they provide us with a cost. That's how the bidding we did last time with this was. We had 3 different ones bid. This was the service we chose, which was kind of middle of the road with pricing. It wasn't the cheapest, but it wasn't the most expensive. They had this all aligned. That's who we used since. We're going out to public bid again. So whatever you want in there, get it in there, make sure it's there, and we'll, next meeting, be able to approve it.
certainly, I don't like the idea that we, or the township, would buy the mops and brooms.
Yeah, no.
And then they would
They're a cleaning
utilize them,
service.
because that is like, well, if nobody's provided them proper mops, that may be why the floor doesn't look good, and why are we getting so many people involved? Just let them be involved, figure it out
Because
themselves.
from what I've heard, they're supposed to supply all their own supplies and stuff. That might have been stuff that might have been just left there a long time ago, and they thought, oh, okay, that's what we're using, because they don't want to.
So
plug
they
it in
should
their
be
car.
purchasing their own mop packs.
Exactly. Should be
make sure
purchasing their own
that's in
mops
the
and
contract.
brooms. Yeah, that's going to be in there too.
Yep.
Do they know, and when you talk to them about it, that
She didn't seem like it because she's like,
she doesn't think she's supposed to buy her own
No,
mop
because she said that's what was there at the park. That's what she's using all along. She said, I kept asking multiple times if they could replace it, and they never did.
So she thinks that she's not supposed to buy it, it sounds like.
Exactly.
wouldn't
Because she
ask
makes
that.
also made the excuse of, well, our cars are too small to transport them in our cars.
I mean, that's,
She's not meeting the bid
Yeah.
and the contract that was put in place.
Exactly.
Or get the contract.
are we
that is
sure
in
that's
place.
the contract?
I say, get
I
the
was
contract.
saying, we need
that's
to
in
make
place
sure our
and
language
verify.
is in
Yeah, I
place.
mean, if we're supposed to buy mop heads. and
That's why I
nobody's
said,
buying
if
our
we're
mop heads-
re-putting a bid out, make sure all this language is in place.
And they can rebid, and
And yeah, and
Good
have
bid.
them rebid,
Exactly.
tell her this is the new bid, this is all the things we're expecting.
Yeah, exactly.
Have them rebid and provide a new price if it's gonna cost more to have her do all this.
exactly.
So that's how we're
We just
gonna
want- we just
approach
want
it.
done correctly is all.
I think we've spent way too much time on
This is being tabled,
cleaning
and
service thing. There's nothing we can move forward with until we have a contract to put out for public bid.
so this is being tabled, and Josh
next
is
week.
going to bring a bid to the next meeting.
Correct.
We could bring some bids to the next meeting regardless, right?
Bid specs, sorry, not a bid.
Contract.
We need the language for what we
That's-
want the bid
exactly.
for.
Okay, let's
That's what
bring
we
a
need
bring
for
new
next meeting.
contract to the meeting. I'm going to get this work on this week. It's going to get sent out to everybody. Everybody needs to review it, read through it.
Correct.
If there's anything people want to add to it, let's add to it, or make any adjustments we need to adjust. And then make sure we have it in place. Say, hey, here, this is going to
Next
be
meeting
up.
we can vote yay, let's get it out to public bid, or if there's 3 no's, it won't, and so be it. I don't see that happening if we're planning to do this public bid, so.
Right.
That's,
And in the meantime, if you know any cleaning companies that want to start
be prepared.
getting people to, hey, keep your eyes open because this is coming out. Get that started. So
Moving on to 9B, which was added, is the park trash barrel update. Pat got us an email this afternoon. I don't know if anybody saw it or was in their email prior to the meeting here, so I wanted to make sure it was on here. It is in regards to what you requested from him for pricing for lids and locks for all of our barrel garbage cans. A lid, a lanyard, and lock. He provided pricing. We have roughly about 60 that go out. We would think, ordering wise, I would think we'd need to order about 70 to have spares and backups for broken things and items. The lock and lid combination ranged anywhere from 80 to 150 a piece. The lowest end was at $79 with a bulk purchase. At 60 of them, that's $47.50. So round up, if we order, extras for broken times and all that we have on hand, you're looking at about $5,000 there. Lanyards is going to be roughly about another $2,000, and then you're at about $7,000 plus shipping costs of all that. Pat's recommendation and what I'm recommending is we're not spending $7,000 on lids and locks and lanyards for the barrel cans that we have at the parks. It's going to double the amount of time maintenance has to unlock every single one, dump them, go back. He made a great point that if people are going to use those barrels for dumping, if the lid's there and locked on it, it's not going to prevent them from just tossing the trash on the side of it. I don't think this is a major item. There's always public dumping unless you have 24-hour surveillance or you guys want to sit by the dumpsters. We did get the big dumpsters fixed. He said a huge thank you to that. They're all, the locks, everything are good on them. They haven't had any issues or complaints there.
including Parmalee, because I actually put that in for last week as well.
I don't know about Parmalee, but he said he noticed or saw that because the crew actually had to unlock them to be able to dump stuff. That at least I believe White and Carr were 100%.
Samaria's not locked
fixed.
either.
I just
It's
locked
locked in the down position, but not locked up where like it's supposed to be at Samaria. So
I don't know if
Main
Stevens is not locking them or that, but they were. The ones that were broken were fixed. Those definitely keep an eye on. We need to, those, yes, locking, but the individual barrel cans, that's where cost would be. If anybody wants to make a motion to do this, go right ahead. It does not have my support. But I just want everybody to have an update on that and kind of what it was looking at. The barrels are the barrels. That's what the guys, they drive around in the cart quick. They dump them so they can dump them into the big dumpster barrels. Putting a lid and a lock and a lanyard on those is not going to prevent.
what's the
They should-
lanyard?
The lanyard to hold
It
the lid to it.
attaches
So people
the lid
can't
to
just
the
grab the lids and take them. It's attached to the can. It's
A chain, if you will.
a chain. Yep, a lanyard.
Okay.
It's just, I think the biggest, what Pat had mentioned, and my first thought when you had mentioned it was how much that slows down maintenance and every single one to have to unlock it, try to empty that, lock it back up, do that. And if we only have a whole size, I mean, people that use our pavilions don't have just whole size like pop bottles and cans. They have plates, they have tablecloths that they're putting over the benches and the picnic tables that they're throwing in the garbage. You have more than just cans. You're going to limit the use by the public to where I think it would create more of a mess around the garbage cans than it would just utilizing the garbage. It's people who are going to want to dump and make a mess and dump a garbage bag in there are going to do it. Unless there's police 24 surveillance or you guys want to sit at the park 24/7 and surveil, it's not going to be 100% preventable. And I don't see spending $7,000 plus to put lids on them as a fiscal alternative to it. That's my comments. I don't know if anybody else wants to comment on it.
Do we really have 60 barrels throughout all the parks?
Yes. And right now during the winter, no, they
No.
put most of them back and only leave ones by pavilion and so forth. As soon as the spring season hits, all of them go back out.
Oh, okay. I didn't think
Yeah.
we had that many. But
Yeah.
My gosh.
So, any other comments on those? Okay. Moving on, 9C, Anstead Park. Any updates?
Nothing new with Anstead.
Samaria?
Nothing new going on right now except for inside the hall. I was in there again. The walls seem to have some scuff marks in different spots, even in the bathrooms on the walls. Like, just want to make sure either they kind of like do like a little bit of touch-up paint or something, or wash them off.
Put that into Al in an email for maintenance touch-up.
On top of that, the cabinet tray, there's like a lot of loose items and stuff in the cabinets. I'm not sure if that stuff really needs to be there, especially for people that are going to rent the hall. It just seems like a bunch of
We need just
coffee
do it.
pots and other crazy stuff, and then some of the cabinetry could use some fix it too, like repairs on the drawers and whatnot.
Put a work order into email to Al, so he's got it and can get it to maintenance, and that'll go in their maintenance list.
All right. That's all I really have for Samari at this point.
White Park, I don't have any update with the winter season here, operating as normal. Parmalee,
I really think a dog park could go there. In the skate park area. I mean, I guess like,
you would have to take out all that concrete and make it.
would you? You couldn't just throw like wood chips down and it would, because the pee would like sit on the concrete underneath and smell.
And it's not just nice, smooth concrete. There's old rebar posts sticking out, and you would have
The fence
you would
being
have-
up, it's like it's already fenced.
doing
you know,
a
and you
proper park. Yeah, you could throw a fence up and call it a dog to do a proper. I mean, you're gonna.
well, no, just
you're gonna
that
tear
that
out-
area being fenced already is already
Right.
like, man.
You need to do a tear out, regrade, landscape it, actually plant.
Then no, okay.
That's yeah.
It's my thought. You know, I walked it out and it's like, man, a dog really could get good speed in this space. You know, but okay. I'll keep bringing it up as the years go on here.
Heck yeah.
Let's see.
Cars Grove.
Just a couple things. We got approval from the Lions Den again for $7,000 to put towards a pavilion. And I spoke with Al, and he wants to go ahead with it. And so he said they have in the budget for
Repairing that pavilion.
repairing the pavilion. So he's going to start working on getting a bid out for that as well.
I was going to say, I don't know if he is or you, because I did it initially 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Meet with the township engineer.
Yeah, it was like 17,000 or something. Oh, yeah.
To get a scope and a spec for the bid of what all needs done. on
Right.
it. It's probably changed in 4 years, and now it needs more stuff.
Right.
But get all that listed, so when people are bidding, this is what the bid is on.
Right.
And you can have each kind of thing separate, like.
I
this
saw
is what a
I
roof
saw
would
the
be,
original
this is what
bid,
the po-
so
yep.
it was
So
pretty extensive.
specifically for posts and fascia board, you can have that list. So if we decide and have a roof on there, if we decide, yeah, let's get posts done in this, so it's solid, the roof's still good for 3, then we know pricing it. But get that put together so we can
Yep.
get that put out, and we know we'll have, it's going to be over 7,000 in repair. I know from last time.
Last
So
time it was
at least
17, I
Lions
believe.
Den has offered that to us and
Yeah.
has that towards it, so we're aware, and let's get that going, because that's something definitely when spring kicks off and the weather, we can get that project rolling right away.
Do we have the Mannequin Smith redesign done? No.
On the pavilion?
On the
Pickleball courts.
That was the next thing is I talked with Mannequin Smith again today and last week. They have it done. The main guy has to review it and approve it, but it's
Yeah, put a couple more
essentially
hours on it. Billable hours.
essentially it's done.
It's not out for bid though.
No, so
and it needs this to
yes.
get out for bid.
I've talked with
And we wanted it out for bid like by now.
January.
Right. So this kind of delayed that bid.
The guy that was originally on it has left Mannequin Smith, so they got shifted around and.
These are the critical moments right now of all the things happening, or else we miss the possible bid season, and then it waits till next year.
It's just missing the early start getting this done in April. If we might not be able to start it till June.
And Al's been in touch with him too. We both have been emailing the same people saying we need this now, and so
all right, so pressure's on that.
Yep.
All right, interesting. Good.
And then one last thing is I did get a call from or a text from Pat, and he said that the fire department has some 24 nicer chairs than what's at the Cars Grove, and he wanted to know if we wanted them. It's like they're not the folding ones; they're a little more formed, nice ones. And I was like, we could get rid of some of the folding chairs and have the stackable ones, and they'd be
Because
more
we
comfortable.
should have a lot of the ones at Car
There's-
are the nice
There's 56
kinda padded stacking
56
stuff.
stack padded ones, and then this would be another 24. And then this capacity is only like 86, I think, in there. So we could get rid of a lot of the old falling
Folding
apart
stuff.
folding ones.
Absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted to. I told him go ahead. I
great.
think it's a good idea. So
Do those?
As long as we have enough chairs to meet capacity, because we don't want somebody booking and hey, there's
and
only
maybe a few
50
extra in
here.
case one breaks and you know type of thing.
Right. Yep. Which we usually all the folding ones are out in the storage.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Behind there is it's the maintenance storage and our storage, and obviously maintenance getting a new building and all that built here, but that shed is technically ours, and there's a lot of odds and ends in there, and Same key works if you want to go back there and take a peek. Or you should have the key on that lanyard.
And then I did repair the handicap sign, the one that was in front of no parking space, so I moved it in front of the parking space, and
Yeah, thank you for bringing that
I
up.
ended up just buying the material myself and just doing it. I talked with Pat, he said it was fine.
Real quick, those chairs from the fire department, where do they come from? Like one of the stations, or
I don't know.
do they match what's that car? Or
Nothing matches that car.
oh,
We have folding chairs, and then
It's
we
a
have,
smorgasbord.
yeah.
well, because like all the padded chairs are like pretty much the same there.
All the padded ones are,
Yeah,
yeah, but
that's
we
what I'm
also
saying.
have like
And then all the folding
40
ones are the
folding
same.
chairs.
And then these would all be the same.
But these padded chairs you're getting from the fire department, do those match the padded chairs that are there?
No,
Probably not, no.
Okay.
But
I was just
they're
curious.
an upgrade from folding metal chairs.
they're nicer than, well, they look nicer than the padded ones.
Perfect.
That's good.
Wheeler, I don't have any update. Obviously, we'll work with Monarch Moms to get something there. Same thing with Carr, Parmalee, White, Samaria. I would think those are the four main playscapes that we can plan for that. Outside of that, no update for Wheeler. Comments from the public. We don't have any public here. Commissioners' comments. Aaron?
Just a reminder, the phone call line is messages only, no return, or I'm not returning calls. If anyone else wants to be the phone call listening person and start returning calls, feel free to volunteer. But I don't return the calls, and I'm not about to start because it would open a can of worms that I don't really want to open. But I do listen to the calls. Most of them are people inquiring about the shelters and how to rent the shelters, and they always seem to eventually get their information online because usually they don't call back.
Where it's at.
So-
We don't control the booking.
Yep, so just people be reminded that, no callbacks on the phone line, but we do like to hear tips and information about things that people notice in the parks. Those are always valued. But I'll keep answering the phone calls unless anyone else wants it. So
We appreciate it.
yeah, that's all.
Matt?
Nothing for me.
Kyle?
Good. The presentation that you saw was a really good presentation. We are looking forward to starting a partnership with the Monarch Group. Looking to see some positive added changes to our parks this spring and summer. So good for that. And then we'll be seeing a lot of you at the trade fair this March. So that'll be a fun time as well. Looking forward to getting new cleaning service potentially soon, hopefully, and seeing other things come about, including getting the pavilion repaired at Carr Park and then the new pickleball court soon. So hopefully Manic and Smith will have that done for us so we can go get the bids, and like to see some more improvements happen during this fiscal year before the end of June. So we'll see what happens.
Myself, basically comments for the rest of the commissioners. I've got 2 homework assignments for next meeting that I'm remembering that we need to get done. Visit each one of your parks, whether you have 1 or 2 or whatever. Bring a list of whatever signs you reminded me by saying that handicap sign, of whatever signage, like handicap parking signs or any worn ones that are completely faded and unreadable. Take a picture of them, note them, specifically what you're looking for. We need to get a list of those signs done so we can get an order put in, so when spring comes, like maintenance can go through and do a repair, because the more of those little ticky-tacky style items we can get done prior to mowing season and everything, the better it is for maintenance. The other thing is with that of having a trade fair table, anybody that has anything specific they want, like brochure wise at the table or ideas of what to present, if we want any boards. I know the last year it was, our main presentation was all about the 5-year plan because it was finalized. So we had, this is what came out on it. The year before was, hey, we're doing a 5-year plan, fill out these surveys so we can get feedback on them, all those pieces. Anything that you want specific to the table, bring those ideas for next meeting, because the next meeting's the 24th. The trade fair is going to be, we'll have one more meeting then prior to the trade fair itself.
That week.
Yep. Outside of that, Manning as well, we can go over for the table. I, as years before, am not available to be there at all for the table. If you purchased one and did it, I hope we have people there to cover it during the entire trade fair.
1 day or 2 day?
It's a
one day.
Way back it used to be. It's been one for the more recent history. So we'll just kind of figure out those details, but please visit the parks or figure out what signs you want and any ideas you have for the trade fair. I'll have both those items on the next agenda. Any other agenda items, just get to me by next Wednesday. That's all I have. I need a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Our next meeting's on the 24th, 7 p.m. here. Thank you.